Welcome to the Dragon Wavespell, a 13-day life journey about trust, faith, and nurturing. I nurture the birth of my being with primal trust. A wavespell about learning how to trust the universe, how to trust ourselves, and how to build trust with others. We can only trust someone if they display that they actually seem to have our highest good in mind. There are subtle ways you can tell if a person has your highest good in mind, or if they just want to use you, or take advantage of you, or they have an agenda for you. Sometimes it's not easy to tell because people might say things that seem like they have your highest good in mind and then do something else that proves that they don't. But we do this to ourselves as well. Sometimes we might tell ourselves something and then go do something completely else. And so sometimes when people are taking advantage of us, it's a mirror so that we can look at how we are doing that to ourselves as well. Learning how to trust ourselves is the foundation of self-mastery, because you will never surrender to a master who you don't trust. You will only resent them and subtly rebel against them at any turn. So learning to trust ourselves again after years of lying to ourselves and betraying ourselves is of the utmost difficulty, but also the utmost importance. And the key to self-trust is practicing follow-through with whatever will have your highest good in mind. So things like brushing your teeth consistently because you love yourself, or eating healthy foods, exercising so you can have pure good energy that's sustainable and renewable, that you can then gift to the world and use to your advantage for life and overcoming obstacles, etc., and just being loved in the world and feeling of belonging. Because when you give good energy to the world, people love to be around you. They want you around, and so then you have a feeling of belonging in the world or in a community. If you're always drained past your negatives because you're not taking good care of yourself, then you're giving off negative energy from being in the reserves of the negative, and people aren't going to want you around as much, so you feel more negative because you feel like you don't belong anywhere. So how do we tell if we can trust someone or not? Because there's so many people that are really good at lying and pretending that they're trustworthy by saying all the right things. Well, you have to just look at the follow-through of the person, and do they actually do what they're saying, and is what they're doing and what they're saying actually aligning? And are there any extraneous factors that could be accounted for there? Like, for example, maybe that person wasn't actually trying to hurt us. Maybe they just got distracted by something else or busy with something else based on crazy things that are going on in their reality, and then it was not personal at all and didn't have anything to do with hurting us. And so we have to keep all things in mind. Like, maybe the person didn't have bad intentions. They just ended up hurting us based on all of these things that they were already going through. Or maybe the person actually had bad intentions to want to harm us. Or maybe the person had good intentions and good follow-through and like treated us really good. But that's way more rare just because everybody's so stressed out all the time. So we have to trust people for what they show us that they're worthy of being trusted for. People tend to repeat what they do and patterns that they do. So if somebody consistently flakes out on us, well, they can be trusted to flake out on us. They might also be trusted to throw us $20 here and there when we need it, but they also flake it out on us every time we try to hang out with them, or whatever it is, right? Trust people for what they show you that they can be trusted for. So when we're learning to trust ourselves, we have to be very honest with ourselves with where we are actually at and what we actually do, and try not to set ourselves up for failure by trying to make ourselves change everything in one day. Sometimes that is possible, but it usually takes a great catalyst to really shake things up in our lives for us to make huge changes all at once like that. And even then, it might not stick, and we might go back to our old ways slowly over time. because the brain is hardwired to follow the paths that are already grooved into it. That's sort of its the path of least resistance. It's like easiest way is to just follow the paths that have already been charted. So rewiring new neural pathways in the brain takes practice and it takes discipline. And people don't like the word discipline because it's like, oh, I have to do something hard. Discipline means self-love. It means you love yourself enough to take good care of yourself and to do what's right for yourself, what's best for yourself, what's good for yourself. And it helps if you're selfless, and that means that you have no self. Like the self doesn't even exist at all. Therefore, this is just a human being, just like every other human being, just like every other animal. And when we realize that there is no us, that there is no me, that there is no I in this creature, then the creature becomes inherently worthy of love because it's the I principle itself, aka the ego, that makes us feel like we are inherently unlovable because we should have control over this being, which is where shame and guilt come from, right? But if there is no I, if there is no concept of the I, if it is just another human being, then all of a sudden compassion comes naturally. Love comes naturally. It's just another animal like a cat or dog. How easy it is to be kind to others. How easy it is to be kind to animals. And yet when we come across ourselves as if we are us, as if I am me, how easy it is to be cruel. And this is the whole reason that we get so negative all the time, because we believe that we are I or me or us, instead of just believing that it is just a creature and all creatures are deserving of love and compassion. So give it the love and compassion that you know babies and kittens and bunnies all deserve, because it's not separate, it's not different. We're all beautiful souls and we all deserve love and compassion. So treat yourself with kindness. And then also those friends that you think are taking advantage of you because they didn't meet up with you, they flaked out on you for dinner or whatever it might have been. Think about how maybe you are also putting your expectations onto them to fulfill your agenda rather than having their highest good in mind, because maybe they really went through something and needed support, or maybe they're just on a whole different existential crisis right now, or a whole different layer of thinking right now than you are, and they're just not able to show up in the way that you need them to in the moment. And maybe having love and compassion extends to them and shows them that they're allowed to go through their life too, instead of being called untrustworthy because they didn't show up for you, because you weren't showing up for yourself and meeting your own needs, and you're expecting someone else to meet your needs for you. We do this so often, and we think of that other person as evil for not meeting our needs, when really we're the ones that didn't show up for ourselves in the first place to meet our own needs, and we delegated that expectation to another individual. That puts the pressure on the other individual and demonizes them and makes them seem untrustworthy, or we can't trust them, when really we haven't been showing up for ourselves, and we really need to learn to trust ourselves. Because if we trusted ourselves and we took care of ourselves, then we wouldn't need all of this stuff from other people in the first place, and we could just let people be, and we could let ourselves be as well. And that's why this is the Wavespell about being. I nurture the birth of my being with primal trust. It is also a Wavespell about developing faith and trust in the divine, in the higher mind, the higher consciousness, the one that can move mountains, the one love energy, the galactic organizing dynamic, God, etc., by whatever other name that you would like to call the love energy in the universe, the glue that holds the illusion together. So as we traverse this Wavespell over the next 13 days, really pay attention to all the ways you're really showing up for yourself with self-love, aka self-discipline, and what ways you're showing up for others as well without allowing them to drain you into your negatives, by allowing yourself enough time to recharge, enough time for yourself, so that you can have the best energy to gift the world as well. And this can be a tough balance in this day and age, especially with all of us being overworked and overstressed in our society. So focus on ways that we can think smarter, not harder, make our lives easier, and cut out unnecessary things that are draining our energy or putting us in a bad mood that we actually don't need in our lives. To try to simplify, focus on the top 2 or 3 things that matter the most, and let everything else go, and just really let yourself be. And this takes simplifying in our lives. It takes lessening. People say don't say be blessed, because that means be less. We want to be less, because when we are less, we need less, and we don't have to stress as much. It's less stress, it's less worry, it's less of just everything we have to do and worry about and stress about. And we can just be, and be more, and just meditate, exist, do our best to give back to society in the ways we can. Because in order to have all of these beautiful things in the age of materialism, we actually do have to provide community service and give back to the community in order to make all of this possible for ourselves and our future generations, and for our children and our children's children who we love dearly. And our ancestors didn't have hot showers, for example, but we have hot showers, and that is made possible by the lives of many manufacturers, many builders, many plumbers, many all types of people that have put their life force energy into giving back and making this possible. People have put countless amounts of hours and efforts for generations and generations, for millions of years, into creating what we now enjoy. We live like kings and queens of old would have lived, and yet we take it all for granted with this existential dread of just feeling like we're not good enough and like we're always feeling guilty. But when we take joy in giving back to our community and really being grateful for the contributions that we're able to make so that we can keep these great things going, like hot showers. Hot showers are awesome. We want to keep that going if we can for until it's the end of hot showers, I guess. Well, then when we switch into the end of the material age, then we become light beings in theory. But for this third dimensional experience that we are having, which ends in death, then we are going to try to make it enjoyable and enjoy the fruits of planetary being by being of service and giving back and being grateful for that. But also just remembering that you are enough, and this feeling of enoughness helps us to be able to feel confident enough to go into the world and give to society in some kind of way that allows good things to perpetuate. Focus on the good. Remember that our faith is a primal force that creates our reality. So always have faith in good over evil. There's so many times when we want to give our faith to evil or to paranoia or to mistrust or to fear. Love wins. Remember that. Love wins, and give our faith to good. There are always 2 sides of every coin, but the coin lands on heads. So just give your faith to that which is good. There's always a stronger force. Our beliefs create, literally. So whatever force is stronger within us will be the stronger force that manifests, whether that be love or fear. 2 sides of the same coin. So choose your side and then have faith. Love is scientifically the stronger force over fear. So even when love and fear collide as equals, love wins. So every finger and toe actually has a correlation with one of the time codes, which is how we can actually get our messages from our higher self in like a really tangible way through a coded system, which you can find out more about at lawoftime.org. But for example, the index finger on the right side hand is the red dragon finger, about trust, faith, and nurturing. So anytime you jam that finger or get a cut on that finger or something like that, pay attention to how that relates to trust, faith, and nurturing, and you will gain insights. This is one of the ways that we can really utilize the time codes in everyday life for common, basic, practical earth wizardry. You guys can always use your fingers and toes to get messages from your higher self based on the time codes, and you can find out more about that at lawoftime.org. And if you would like a personalized reading based on your birthday of either your galactic signature or your planetary service wave spell for giving back to the collective in your most aligned energetic ways, or if you would like a synastry reading to see what lesson you are on with another person, please reach out to me via DM. I'm going to be pretty busy this week, but I will be prioritizing readings in my DMs. And remember, I do these on a donation basis, so just give back what you can and don't let it limit you, your financial situation, to reach out if you would like advice. One love.